I've been here. We've all been here. You're working on a painting and it feels like an absolute fist fight, a battle against the canvas. You're painting your own mind. Nothing is going the way that you feel like it should. This painting right here is William Bouguereau's Irene, and it almost took me down. Now, if you know anything about Bouguereau, you know that he had a beautiful ability of creating the luminosity of skin tones. And he does this in very subtle color and value shifts. That is why he is one of the all-time greats. And so I wanted to learn from him. So I decided to copy one of his paintings. And I found myself quickly in the weeds. I lost my way almost immediately. The first strokes that I laid down had me fighting for my life for the entire painting. I lost my chroma, the vibrancy of the colors, and I lost my values. When I would try to pull my values a little bit darker, my lights weren't quite right. And when I tried to fix my lights, my shadows were thrown off. And so the value relationships were a continuous pull and tug that did not ever resolve itself. I felt like I was able to recover some of my chroma. I was able to get my shadows where they needed to be, but I wasn't ever able to get my lights bright enough to create that beautiful luminosity that Bouguereau did. And so I left the painting feeling like, what was I meant to learn in all of that struggle, apart from how to get through a tough painting? But I knew I couldn't give up because I wanted to continue to paint Bouguereau's to better understand how to get that beautiful glowing skin. So I reached out to my mentor, and he suggested something that completely shifted my perspective. And he told me to do a post-mortem color study. So what is a post-mortem color study? It's a way to pull out and extract the lessons from a painting that was either incredibly frustrating or you feel like you learned nothing from. So it's really simple. You're going to pull out the 3 or 4 main colors and values that are going to best represent the subject, and you're going to paint it again very simply. So we're not worried about edge control. We're not worried about fine points or details. We're simply painting in the 3 or 4 main colors and values that make up the subject to create an overall feeling of that subject. So you're essentially doing a simple color check. So why is it so powerful? Because it forces you to simplify. When you're in the middle of a complex painting, your brain is making 1,000 different decisions. The shape of the nose, you're thinking about where to place that highlight. You're thinking about how the value relationships are relating to each other. You're thinking about where to put these colors. Where do you see them in the original reference? But a color study like this forces you to simplify, only thinking about 2 things: value, so how light or how dark is this? And then color. What is the hue? Is it red? Is it orange? Is it green? And then is it a really vibrant green or is it a very dull green? Those 2 things, color and value. So how does it work? 1, it clarifies your values. With just 3 or 4 simple values, you can instantly see if your lights are too dark, if your shadows are too light. You can see how they relate to each other, which is one of the most critical parts of painting form. I can see that my lights were too close in value to my midtones, which is why I couldn't create that sense of glowing skin like Bouguereau. Number 2, it's going to reveal your color choices. It forces you to ask, what are the main colors that are really making up this painting? What actually makes this painting work? Now, number 3 is it builds confidence. You can finish these color studies in just a couple of minutes, 10 to 15 minutes to half an hour, now depending on how long it takes you to color match. But that feeling of success, of knowing that you can actually achieve the right colors and the right values to make it look like what it needs to, is a huge motivator. Now, you just took a painting that felt like an absolute throwaway, right? Something that you didn't want to, you wanted to throw it in the trash and you didn't want to ever look at it again. You turned it into a major lesson. I call this a post-mortem color study because I did it after the fact. I did it after I had already completed the painting, but the real genius of this approach is that you can use it before you even start a painting to make sure that you're starting off on the right foot. If you're looking at a reference photo and you're unsure of where to begin, if you feel that intimidation of a blank canvas right away, do a quick color study first. It is going to feel so empowering. It is your secret weapon. You're solving the biggest color and value problems on a small disposable canvas, something that doesn't matter. So when you get to that final piece and you're doing the final thing, you can paint with freedom and confidence instead of fighting a losing battle. This is especially helpful for master copies, which is something that I'm leaning more into in my own practice. Instead of jumping right in and trying to immediately copy all of the beautiful, subtle color and value and detail that they had in their painting, I can do a quick study and feel like I can better understand how the master artist got the result that they did. So I'm going to simplify the palette. I'm going to pull out a couple of main colors and values that really drive the results. And I can see how they used their values, see what key colors and values they used to unify and tie in an entire painting. You'd be surprised how much you can learn when you do a color study before you even begin the painting. Now, when I did a color study for this painting, everything clicked. I realized that I had started off with the wrong colors and values on my palette to begin with. I did not have the main overarching colors and values that best represent this subject. And so it was a constant push and pull and fight between my colors and my values. So the next time a painting tries to take you down and you want to throw it away, don't. Fight back with either a post-mortem color study or a pre-painting color study, and you're going to be amazed at what you can learn from this very simple task.